Hi, this is Chris with PazYoga.com, and today I'm going to be exploring a sequence that's meant to create space in the body and maybe in our minds as well. It should be an intermediate level sequence for an over 50 crowd. It will include some standing postures, some of the warrior postures, and a bit of movement, but it will not include full sun salutes. So yeah, let's get going. When we practice yoga, a lot of what we're doing is creating space in the body. The process of stretching out the muscles helps to release tension and release toxins in the muscles that we've been holding for who knows how long. And within postures as well, it's possible to refine the postures to just create more space and length and breadth in the body. And I'd like to think that the practice of yoga also helps to create a little bit more space for us emotionally and mentally, because when we slow down and when we let things go, when there's not so many things running around in our head, then we do have the space to be more open to new things and just to be more objective about what's going on in our lives. So I know that's a tall order, but I think ultimately the practice of yoga can get us there. So in this practice, I'm going to be working on not only trying to create more physical space in our bodies, but also we are going to be doing a bit of breath work and a bit of meditation at the end. So hopefully that'll allow us to have more space in the mind and emotional body as well. So I'm going to be using a chair for part of this, and might need a yoga strap. We're going to be doing some shoulder opening stuff, creating space in the shoulders. That could be helpful. And I'm going to be sitting on a yoga block in the beginning of the practice, just for meditative parts, but you can also sit on a chair. So if you have any issues sitting on the ground without arching your back, just go ahead and sit up nice and tall on a chair. So I forgot my yoga block over here. I've got to grab it. So let's go ahead and sit. So find yourself in a comfortable seat, whether that's in a chair, on a block, or on a cushion on the ground. Just find a place where you can have a nice tall spine, because if you're rounding in the spine, that's compressing the lower back, and that's kind of the opposite of what we're looking for. It's the absence of space. So go ahead and find that seat and close your eyes. And just maybe wiggle around a little bit and just see if you can find a comfortable spot where you can sit really nice and still. And as you settle, just see if you can notice the sensations in your body. Notice what you're bringing into this practice. Notice any emotions that you might have going on, or any things, any thoughts that are swirling around in your head. And then just start to notice where your sits bones are touching your block or cushion or chair. And really try to press your sits bones down and rise up through the spine so that you're sitting as tall as you can. Try to make your spine as long as you can. And this is the first way that we really are starting to create space, because by that pressing down and rising up through the spine, by the act of trying to make ourselves as tall as we can, we are actually stretching out the spine, using muscles to create more space in the body. So we're going to start accentuating that a bit with the breath. So take a nice big inhale and expand your stomach out and then up into your chest as you inhale. And then a nice complete exhale, just a light engagement of your stomach, of your abs as the breath flows out, trying to press all the air out. And keep going with that big inhale, expanding stomach, ribs, chest. And complete exhales, just going at your own pace with this. Really focusing on your exhales, trying to get rid of all the air in your lungs. The more you push all the air out, it creates more space for fresh air to come in. As you're sitting here, see if you can allow your shoulders to fall back and down. Don't force them too much, but just see if you can bring them back and down a bit. And allow your forehead to relax, your eyes should be soft and wide. See if you can bring a gentle smile to your face. So I'm going to start doing a little bit more of a conscious breath work practice with you here. So go ahead and go with your own count, but I'm going to be doing a 7-count inhale, a 7-count hold, and a 7-count exhale. So we're going to be holding the breath after the inhale. And you want to really focus on creating as much space in your chest through the inhale, really expanding out as much as you can. And then on the hold, just see if you can sit and be still with that extra space before we let it go. So if 7-count is too long for you, please make this your own. Make it 5-count or 4-count or whatever works in your body. So I'm going to be counting with 7-count, so if you want to follow along with me. So nice big inhale. And hold. And nice complete exhale, all the air out. And big inhale. All the way up. And hold. And nice complete exhale. So keep going with that at your own pace. And as you're holding your breath at the top of the inhale, see if you can notice just the stillness in your body when you're not moving and even the breath isn't moving the body. See if you can just find a little bit of stillness in your body and in your mind on those holds. Now on the exhale, again, just gently engage the abs. Inhale, you're rising taller. With each inhale, see if you can grow just a little bit more. And exhale, just let something go. So just one more round wherever you're at your own pace. So go ahead and blink your eyes open. And let's just start to do some gentle circles with the torso, just starting to move the body around. And just think about moving your spine around in space. And we're starting to create a bit of space around the midsection here. Sorry, I'm probably going to drive you crazy using the word space too much throughout this sequence, but hopefully it's makes a point, or helps you achieve something in your practice. So now just take those circles in the opposite direction and see as you're doing these things if you can keep up with a nice ujjayi breath. So nice, slow, deep breath. Try to make it audible. Try to find a nice pace for your practice. And back to center. And whether you're in the chair or seated on the ground, just bring your right hand down. If you're in a chair, you can just grab onto the side of the chair. We're going to stretch out the left side body. So bring that left arm up and turn towards that left side. Get a nice stretch through there. Come over as far as you can on the right side, making sure it feels okay in your lower back. And breathing, keep breathing. As I never do as I'm talking. And just release that side, and then bring the left hand down, either grabbing the chair or out onto your mat. And stretch those right fingertips up, and really stretching up from the fingertips down all the way through the waist, and see if you can anchor your right hip down as you're doing this. So you're really lengthening that right side body as much as you can. Make it a gentle stretch. We're just beginning to open up the body. And then bring that hand down. And now bring your right hand behind you. If you're in the chair, you might just want to bring your arm up. But we're just doing a gentle twist here. Left fingers in front of you. So sitting up really nice and tall. Again, pressing down through the sits bones and rising up through the top of your head. And see if you can really feel the stretch through, or the twist through your mid-back, through the chest area, the torso area. That's where our spine twists the most. You don't want to twist too much in the lower back. And breathe. With each inhale, see if you can grow a little bit taller. And each exhale, just twist just a little bit further. And then slowly unwind back to center. And then twist the other way. Either left fingertips behind you on the floor or grabbing onto the back of the chair, whatever this looks like for you. Sitting up nice and tall, really pressing your sits bones down into the chair, into your block, and rising up through the back of your head. And try to almost do a back bend in your upper back, so you're not slouching down here. And breathing big up into the chest. You won't be able to breathe as much in these twisting postures. Your breath will be a little bit more restricted, but try to keep up with the breath. Growing taller with each inhale and releasing more into the stretch with each exhale. So go ahead and release that. Coming back to center, and let's come onto all fours. If you need to pad your knees with a blanket or a towel, just do whatever you need to make yourself comfortable here. So let's go ahead and do a cat-cow. So inhale, arching, and exhale, rounding. On the inhales, let's do this really nice and slow today. So see if you can allow your belly to float down, your chest to float up, and almost bring your chest through your shoulders. And on the exhale, go ahead and compress everything. So compress your abs on the chest and come back down, opening up the upper back. Inhale again. And nice slow exhale. As you're doing this, see if you can almost create a wave with your spine. So starting at your tailbone and going all the way up to your neck with each movement, with the inhale and with the exhale. See if you can feel that gradual movement from the base of the spine up to the top of the neck. And again, on the arching, on the inhales, just think space. And we're also creating space in the upper back as we're rounding, as we're exhaling. So after your next exhale, just coming back to center. Let's do some gentle hip circles here. I always like doing these. I almost always start my practice off with some sort of hip circles. Just to wake up the hips, to open up the glutes. Should feel good. And then the reverse directions. So let's go ahead and press up into a plank position. If this is hard for you, just keep your knees on the ground. And let's gently bring your chest towards the ground, whether you're in tabletop or in plank, without bending your elbows, and then press away. So this is working the serratus anterior muscles, which are really important for upper back posture. And do this really nice and slowly with the breath. So exhaling down if you can, and inhaling back up. And coming back to center, and go ahead and push back up into a really gentle down dog. So pedaling out your feet, just pushing one heel towards the ground and then the other, maybe swaying a little bit from side to side. Just try to move your body around in a way that feels good. Just loosening up things from your toes all the way up into your fingertips. And then come to a point of stillness here. If you can hold this, if you're comfortable in down dog, really try to press your index fingers down into the ground. Rotate your biceps towards each other, and the shoulders are coming into the sockets there. And in the interest of creating space, we're going to try to make the spine as long as we can. So see if you can create a feeling of pulling your thighs back and creating space in your lower back. So you want to try to have a nice flat back, almost try to move towards arching your back, which most of us will not be able to do in down dog unless you're super flexible. But see if you can pull your legs, pull your thighs away from you, which should create a little bit of length in the torso. So go ahead and come back forward. I'm sure you're ready to come out of down dog into plank, and then really gently lower yourself all the way down to the ground. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, down. And we're going to do a few more cobras, but before we do that, just keep your forehead on the ground for a moment. Lift your right leg up and see if you can make it longer. Send those toes back. And then lift your left leg up and do the same thing. So just send that foot back. So really press your feet down into the ground. And I want you to think as we're doing these cobra poses that you don't want to just compress your lower back. See if you can create length in the lower back as you're doing this. Part of that length will come from pressing your feet down into the ground a little bit, and see if you can tilt your tailbone back just a little bit so there's less of a compression in the lower back. So with all those things going on, press the feet down, tilt the tailbone back, inhale up into cobra, and exhale down. And just keep doing that at your own pace. As you're lifting up, see if you can feel like you're extending your head forward. You want your shoulder blades to be coming down your back as well. And we are engaging these muscles in the back to lift ourselves up in this. So see if you can use those muscles as much as you can and your hands as little as possible. So just one more of these. And come down, relax. Use your hands as a pillow. And let go. Go ahead and bring your feet so they're pointing straight up and windshield wiper them back and forth, which will help to Release any tension we've created in the lower back. So bring your hands back down by your side and let's push back up through a tabletop position into child's pose first. So if child's pose is tough for you, you can always do puppy pose with your thighs straight up and down, but see if you can bring your knees wide and send your butt back towards your heels. And again, try to create as much length as you can here. So see if you can send your tailbone back and your fingers forward. So creating as much length in the spine as possible. Coming back up onto all fours. Inhale here. Exhale, down dog. Inhale forward into plank. Exhale down, knees just chin. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, pushing back up into a tabletop position. Inhale here. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, plank. Exhale, knees just chin. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, pushing back into tabletop. Inhale here. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, plank. Exhale, down. Knees just chin. Inhale, cobra. And exhale. Tabletop. Inhale here. Exhale, down dog. Man, let's just hang out in this down dog. Just pedal it out a little bit. Take a break. Take a child's pose if you need to. These vinyasas can require a bit of strength, and they can be a little bit tough. So go ahead and inhale, bring your right foot up and back. And exhale, bring that in between your hands. So if that doesn't work for you, getting into Anjaneyasana that way, please make your way here in whatever way does work for you. It can be difficult to some to get the feet forward. But we want the right foot forward, left foot back. It is stormy out there today, windy out there. Anyway, and we're looking for a nice opening of the left hip flexors here. So keep your hands on your waist and just move back and forth a little bit with the breath. So as you inhale, move forward and exhale back. And just see if you can focus on feeling that opening through the left hip flexors. And in order to keep space in your lower back, see if you can really tilt your tailbone under. If you're really arching your back here, you're not going to feel the stretch as much through here, and it's also compressing the lower back. So see if you can tilt your tailbone under just a little bit, just engage the core rising up. So from here, go ahead and put your right hand on your right thigh. And stretch your left hand up and over. We're going to do just a little bit of a side stretch. Sort of like the side stretch we did in the beginning, but from Anjaneyasana, this really lengthens out that left side body. And then back down, back to center. Place your hands on the mat, stepping back or getting back to plank, however you can. Inhale here. Exhale down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, tabletop. Inhale here. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, left foot goes up and back. And exhale, step that forward in between your hands or find your way into Anjaneyasana, however you need to get here. Go ahead and come up with your hands on your hips. And again, we want to move around on this side. So inhale forward and exhale back. And as you're doing this, see if you can be conscious of tilting your pelvis back, your tailbone forward, so that you're creating more of a stretch in your hip flexors and more space in your lower back. Breathing. Nice, slow, deep breath, just moving with the breath, inhaling big up into the chest. So go ahead and place your left hand on that left thigh. Bring your right hand up, and we're going to stretch out this right side here. So if for any reason the balance is difficult in this, you can always place your hand on a block or something beside you, or you can place your forearm there on your thigh, whatever works. Should feel a really good stretch to that right side body, and this gets into the quadratus lumborum muscles and the obliques and all kinds of things through there. So go ahead and release that. Place your hands on the ground and stepping back to tabletop and back into child's pose. So go ahead and come up, and let's just gently make our way to standing. So starting off here on our feet, just really plant your feet down into the ground. Make sure that the outsides of your feet are parallel to each other. Let's do a nice mountain pose. Go ahead and lift your toes, spread them out. Place them back down and really try to claw the ground with your feet. So really pressing the feet down into the ground, really feeling each one of your toes pressing in the ground, from the big toe to the second toe, the middle toe, the fourth toe, and the pinky toe. And then feel the balls of your feet on the ground and the heels of your feet planted down. The inner arches coming down, the outer arches coming down. Engage the thighs, engage your core, shoulders back and down. Really pressing down into the ground, trying to grow as tall as you can. Go ahead and sweep the arms up overhead. Stretch up through those right fingertips and that whole right side, really feeling the stretch between your right fingertips and your right foot. And then the left side. And then back to center, both arms. Palms are rotating towards each other so that the shoulders aren't creeping up too much towards the ears. Try to keep your shoulders in the sockets while feeling that stretch through the side body. And breathe. Go ahead and turn your palms back towards the ground and reach down. So we're going to do a little bit of a tree pose here, just to throw a little bit of balance in at this point. If you have trouble with tree pose, a wall is a great option. Just stand with your back to the wall, hands on the wall, and that will help you balance. A chair can be okay, but I feel like it's not as good at helping you to learn how to balance as the wall is. So if you need a chair just in front of you, and maybe a few fingers on the chair. So bring your feet together, outsides of the feet parallel, again, really pressing down through the feet, growing up through the spine. And one of the things we want to think about as we're doing this tree pose is standing as tall as we can. It really helps the balance. So find a point of focus, something. I usually find something on the ground in front of me is the easiest thing to look at, but something that's static and not moving, a little spot on the floor or the carpet or wherever. And then shift your weight into your left foot, all the weight. That left leg is really strong, the left hip is strong, and see if you can make yourself as tall as you can through that left side. And then slowly bring the right heel up off the ground. And maybe just the toes touching the ground. If that's a balance, just hang out there. If you can, bring that right foot to the left calf. And again, really renewing the energy of standing through that standing leg so that you're not slouching over to the side. So this hip is in, it's strong. If that's comfortable, if you're more flexible, you can try to bring that right foot above the knee. Don't place it on the knee. Hands to prayer is a good option if you're balanced. Again, really pushing down through the standing leg. And if this is okay, you can always try to bring your hands up overhead. And again, try to create height and length as you're in this standing balancing posture. Try to make yourself as tall as you can. So pushing down through that standing foot, rising up through the back of your head, stretching up through the fingertips if your hands are overhead. And breathing. Don't forget to breathe. If you fall down, just come right back up. Just try it again. It takes a lot of practice to get these. Some days it's easier than others. So if your hands are overhead, bring them back to prayer. And then wherever you're at, slowly release that right foot back down to meet your left foot on the ground. So close your eyes for a second and feel yourself centered on both feet, balanced again, standing as tall as you can. Shoulders back and down. Just notice the sensation of your feet on the ground. And then open your eyes, find a point of focus, find your drishti, something to stare at in front of you. And slowly shift your weight over into the right foot. Before you bring that left foot off the ground, see if you can stand as tall as you can on that right leg. The right hip is staying solid, it's staying in. And just make yourself as tall as you can through that right side. Slowly bring the left foot off the ground, the left heel up, so maybe your toes are just touching. And if this is a balance, that's great. You can just balance here with your hands. If it's testing your balance, that's really all you need to do. So if that's easy, and you want to bring your left foot to your left calf, pressing up again, trying to renew that energy of really standing through the standing leg. If you're more flexible, if it's easier for you to bring your foot above the knee and really press that leg into the foot if you're doing this. Again, really standing through, I'm losing my balance. Standing through that standing leg, focusing on your point of focus, your drishti. Taking this to whatever level feels comfortable for you, wherever you're testing your balance, that's great. And really, again, just trying to renew that energy of making yourself as tall as you can, make your spine as long as you can, keep that hip nice and solid. And I am having more trouble on this side today. Here, I'll just keep it down here. And if your arms are up above, go ahead and bring them back to prayer, breathing. And wherever you're at, go ahead and bring that left foot back down. And just move your feet around on the ground a little bit. Lift your toes again. Place them back down on the ground. Close your eyes. And just move around a little bit, sway around a little bit in a circle, just feeling the balance in your feet. And blinking your eyes open again. So let's do a few half sun salutes to start to build a little bit of heat, and then we're going to move into some standing postures that will certainly build more heat. So coming to the top of your mat or thereabouts, again, the outsides of your feet are parallel, it's fine. Anywhere from hip distance apart to having your feet together, whatever's comfortable in your body. So go ahead and, oops, my yoga towel. Go ahead and inhale, sweep your arms up, Exhale, knees are really soft, especially this first forward fold, folding forward. So wherever you're coming in this, hands to shins, hands to your ankles, hands to knees is fine. Try to keep your back somewhat straight. Inhale, flat back, really extending out through the tailbone and up through the top of your head, trying to make your back as long as you can. And then on your next exhale, fold again. So bend your knees a bit as you're coming up, inhaling up, and then straighten the legs, and exhale, hands to prayer. Inhale, sweeping the arms up. Let's move with this a bit more. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. And fold. Inhale, bend the knees, sweeping up. And hands to prayer. Inhale up. Exhale, really extend forward, trying to make your back as long as you can as you fold forward. Your head is the last to come down. Inhale, flat back, making your spine as long as you can. Exhale, fold, releasing the neck. Inhale, sweeping the arms up. And hands to prayer. Inhale up, reaching out through the fingertips as you sweep the arms up. Exhale, fold, really stretching forward with your head, with your spine. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold again. Inhale, sweeping the arms up. And exhale, hands to prayer. A couple more. Inhale up. Exhale, reaching forward, stretching forward. Try to stretch your chest towards the ground, towards your feet, so that you're not just rounding here. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale up. And exhale, hands to prayer. Last one. Let's do it really slow. Inhale, stretching the arms out and up. Exhale, really nice, slow, long exhale. Inhale, flat back. Expanding the chest out. Exhale, fold. Inhale, bend the knees, and let's come up into chair pose. Hold this for a couple breaths. Try to make sure that you're not arching in your lower back, you're not rounding either. So engage the core a little bit. Send your tailbone down and stretching up through the top of your head and through your fingertips. And breathing. Make sure your knees aren't splaying out to the side. You want your feet flat on the floor. Your knees are tracking straight over your feet. And then go ahead and release. Hands to prayer, close your eyes. Go and release the hands down by your side. And just notice how you're feeling. So inhale, arms up. One more half sun salute, then we're moving into some standing postures. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. And fold again. Inhale, arms up. And exhale, hands to prayer. So hands on your hips. Go ahead and inhale and step that right foot back to a relatively wide stance. We're going to do warrior two here. So take a moment to find your stance. You want your hips turning towards the side of your mat. And you want to make sure that your right knee is not tracking past the ankle. So you want to make sure that it's inside the ankle. So try to keep your torso nice and tall, rising up, straight up through your torso so you're not leaning over that front leg. So your right foot, the front knee is spiraling out to the side. You should feel a real opening here. And the left leg is coming back. It's almost like your left thigh is pulling towards the back of the room. Really nice and strong here. Extend the hands out, turn the palms up, really opening up the shoulders, and then turn the palms back over. Try to keep that openness in the shoulders as you look over the right hand, and breathing. So try to really stretch out from your heart center out through the fingertips. Try to feel yourself reaching out from the center of your chest out through your fingertips. And at the same time, engage your core. Make sure you're not arching your lower back. And try to reach up from your tailbone all the way up through the back of your head. Pressing that right foot down into the ground. The back leg is strong. The back foot is strong. So bring this left hand down the back leg. Don't put pressure on your knee so that fingers are just barely touching there. Stretch your right fingers up into a reverse warrior. And then back down. Bring your forearm to your thigh there. Stretch the left fingers up. And see if you can create as much length through that left side body as you can. So turn the palm in almost towards the back of the room, and make sure that your shoulder is not creeping up way out of its socket, so you're not creating tension in the neck, but feeling that nice line of energy between your fingertips and that left foot, and breathing. Trying to rotate your chest up towards the ceiling. So back into Warrior Two, looking over those right fingertips, and then take your time getting back to the front of your mat. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. And exhale, fold. Inhale, bend the knees, sweeping the arms all the way up. And exhale, hands to prayer. So now we're going to do the other side. You'll have to excuse my back. So stepping that right foot back into a Warrior Two. And take your time to find your stride. In general, you want... Oh, my yoga towel is fighting with me today. In general, you want your heel to be aligned with your arch in Warrior Two. But if you're having issues with balance, you might want to separate your feet a little bit further apart. But make sure that left knee is not tracking past your ankle. Should feel a nice stretch through that right leg. And then find your torso really nice and tall, sitting straight above your hips. Go ahead and stretch out those fingers. Turn the palms up, open up your chest with this motion. And then keep that open chest as you flip the palms back over, looking over your left fingertips. So again, really trying to create length and height through your spine. Engage the core so you're not arching your lower back. And breathing. So really pressing down into that front foot. The front foot is spiraling out, actively opening up. You should feel a stretch through that left inner thigh. You'll also feel a stretch to the right inner thigh, just the angle of the leg. See if you can make that right leg nice and strong and almost like it's pulling back towards your back. And breathing. Double check on the alignment of your hands. See if they're both going out relatively straight from your torso, and really reach out from the center of your chest all the way through your fingertips. So let's go ahead and bring that right hand down into a reverse warrior. Really stretching up through the left fingertips. Don't put pressure on that right knee. Just your fingertips are floating there on your leg. And breathing. And then bring that left forearm onto the left thigh. Stretch the right hand up, trying to rotate your chest up towards the ceiling, really opening up towards the ceiling, stretching through those fingertips. Rotate the palms so that your shoulders aren't coming out of the socket, so it's not creeping up towards your ear. And really feel that line of energy between your right fingertips all the way down to that outside edge of your right foot. And breathing. So coming back into a warrior two, and then slowly, however you do it, make your way to the front of the mat. Hold on, I'm gonna rearrange my yoga towel here. So take a moment standing, breathing, close your eyes, notice how you're feeling. So go ahead and blink your eyes open. And again, inhale up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold again. Inhale, arms up, swooping up. Exhale, hands to prayer. Send your left foot back and make the stances a bit shorter this time. We're going to be doing pyramid pose. So you only need about a leg's distance between your legs, so between your feet. So turning those hips towards the front leg, you want your hips to be square towards the front leg. The back leg is nice and strong. Inhale, do a bit of an arch in your back, a bit of a back bend, and exhale, fold over that front leg. So if you have issues with balance, if this is difficult for you, you can always use a chair to help you in this. You can use yoga blocks to help you in this. You can keep your hands on your hips. You can bring your fingertips to the ground. Try to make your back as long as you can. Again, we don't really want to compress here. We want to try to create space. So don't just round over your leg here. So try to think about having a nice straight back, sending your tailbone back, your head forward. And instead of just reaching your head towards your leg, see if you can reach your chest down towards your foot. And breathing. So go ahead and bring your hands to your hips before you come up, and with a really nice straight back coming up. So we're going to go straight from here into warrior one. So you probably need to bring that back foot back, further back. It's about at about the same angle, about 45 degrees. Maybe turned out to slightly more than it was in pyramid pose. Then bring the arms up overhead. So you want your hips rotating towards that front leg. They're probably not going to get there. They might be over to the side a little bit, which is fine. Arms are coming straight up. Chest is rotating towards the front. So go ahead and interlace your fingers behind your back. Really roll the shoulders back and down. Try to open up the chest. Make sure you're not dumping too much pressure in your lower back. Try to stand nice and tall. Tilt your tailbone under a little bit. Little gentle back bend here if you have the balance. And then really gently fold over that front thigh just a little bit, just keeping your back nice and straight. Pressing into that front thigh and breathing. So coming back up, hands to hips or hands to prayer, and then go ahead and step back up to the top of your mat. So again, inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms up. And exhale, hands to prayer. So right foot steps back just a few feet to set up for pyramid pose. Turn your hips towards that front leg. You want your hips to be relatively square. So back leg is really nice and strong. Front leg is straight and strong. Inhale, a bit of a back bend. And exhale, fold forward. Again, you have your options. You can have a chair in front of you if this is a difficult pose, if you're really tight in the hamstrings. Yoga blocks, you can bring your hands to the floor wherever you're at. See if you can keep your back relatively straight and really work on stretching your chest towards your toes as opposed to rounding and chest and stretching your head towards your shin. So we're really looking to create length here as we stretch. Breathing, seeing if you can do almost a bit of a back bend in your upper back. Still feeling your chest filling up as you're breathing in. And just keep thinking length as you're doing this posture. So go ahead and bring your hands to your hips, and with a really straight back, slowly come up. Probably need to scooch that back foot back just a bit in order to find warrior one. Maybe turn the toes out just a little bit too. So bend that front knee, rotate, spiral that back thigh in, arms up overhead. Try to keep your lower back somewhat straight. Don't arch too much there. Engage the core just a little bit. Then we're going to interlace the fingers behind the back. Try to use the off-guard grip, the opposite forefinger on top as you used last time. Really open up the shoulders and chest. Push the chest forward. Breathe big into the chest. And really stretch up from the tailbone all the way through the back of the head. Breathing. A little bit of a gentle back bend. And then a gentle forward fold over that front leg. Again, make sure that your knee is not tracking past your ankle. Try to keep your back nice and straight here and really pressing that front heel into the ground. And then slowly come up here and stepping to the top of your mat. Find your feet on the ground, close your eyes, catch your breath. Go ahead and blink your eyes open and grab a chair for here. We're going to do a high lunge, and I find it's much easier to get into with a chair. So start off with the chair at the top of your mat and bring your feet just almost underneath the chair. So there's really nice and close here. Let's start off by sending the left foot back and just stretch out that calf a little bit into a bit of a runner's lunge. So just moving around here should feel good. So start to bring your weight more into that front foot, really pressing down into the front foot. Really straighten the back leg and see if you can keep your hips square to the front towards that chair. Slowly come up onto your fingertips and see if you can really find balance in your feet so you're not being supported by your hands at all before you come up into this high lunge. So again, we want to try to create space in the lower back. We don't want to just compress there. So that's going to involve really trying to tilt your tailbone under. You're going to feel a much bigger stretch here through the hip flexors. So breathe, as I'm not doing enough of talking too much. Really nice straight through the torso. If your balance is okay, you can bring those arms up overhead, really pressing through that back heel, stretching out through that back leg, tilting the tailbone under, rising up through the back of your neck, stretching up through the fingertips if your arms are overhead, and breathing. And then go ahead and bring your hand back down to the chair. We're just going to do a gentle twist here. So keep this back leg really nice and strong. Put your right hand on your lower back and your sacrum and twist over to the right. Try to keep your hips relatively square. So if you really think about engaging the back leg as you're doing this, and also think about almost doing a back bend in your upper back. So you're not just rounding down here. So try to keep your back really nice and straight and tall. So coming back to center, place both hands on the chair and step that left foot forward. Take a moment. Send the right foot back. Starting off with just a runner's lunge, really trying to stretch out your calf here. Try to make this feel good. And try to find a smile on your face. If you're grimacing, if this is too tough, just It always helps put a little bit of a smile on your face. It seems to help make things just a bit easier. Make sure that you're not holding a bunch of tension in your jaw, your eyes, or your forehead. So really finding your weight in that front foot, and then engage the back leg, make that nice and strong, trying to keep your hips turning towards the front. So pressing down through that front foot, try to find all of your weight in the feet before you bring your hands, your fingers up. So the first thing we're going to do once we do come up when we're balanced is try to rotate the pelvis back, tailbone under, so that you're really feeling the stretch here and you're not dumping too much pressure in your lower back. If you've got balance, go ahead and bring those fingers straight up, those arms straight up. And again, just renew the energy of tucking the tailbone under. You'll feel that stretch more in the right hip flexors. Adjust your stance as you need to. And breathe. Engage the core a little bit on your exhale. Really extending up through the spine. Really pressing that front foot into the ground. Back leg is strong. Really sending energy out through that back heel. So bring that right hand to the chair. Again, you want to keep your right leg really strong here. Keep the back leg strong. Left hand to your sacrum and twist up towards this left side. So try to keep your hips relatively square. Make sure your right hip is not coming along for the ride. And it's okay if you don't twist very far, whatever this looks like in your body. Breathe. Almost a back bend in the upper back. Each inhale is extending just a little bit. Each exhale is twisting just a bit more. So go ahead and bring your hands back to the chair and slowly make your way back up. And just fold over the chair here. A really simple forward fold. Just let go. And breathe. And slowly making your way back up to standing. Lose the chair. So we're really going to be winding down now. You'll be happy to hear. Starting to bring the energy down. Starting to come more towards the calming parts of the practice after we built that heat. So start off with, let's do a wide leg forward fold here. And you might need a chair for this. It might make it more comfortable if you want a chair right in front of you. Yoga blocks can also work. So bring your feet as wide as you can. You want your toes to be pointed slightly in, or at least you don't want them pointed out. So feet parallel is fine, toes in just a little bit is okay too. So inhale, leaning back, exhale, folding forward. So again, try to really create length in your back instead of just rounding down to bring your head towards the ground. See if you can bring your chest towards the ground. You don't want to compress your neck here, so keep your neck long. Nice straight back, wherever you're at in this. And we're just going to hang out in this and take a few breaths. So try not to make it your most intense stretch. Try to let this posture be a letting go. And breathing. Starting to slow down the pace of your breath. And keep coming back to the sensations in your body. One of the things that yoga is great for is it really helps us come into our bodies. So see if you can just really feel the sensation of your feet on the ground. Notice the sensations where this posture is stretching you through your inner thighs and your hamstrings. Notice what your face is doing. See if your face is relaxed, your eyes are relaxed. Again, a little gentle smile doesn't hurt. So as we come out of this, before you come up, bring your hands to your hips wherever you're at, whether you're using a chair. And then with a really straight back, try to lead with your chest. Go ahead and stand back up. Bring your feet back together. Again, really feeling your feet on the ground. Close your eyes for a moment. Blinking your eyes open. So we're going to do just a couple chest openers here. So interlace your fingers behind your back. Really roll the shoulders back and down. And start off with your elbows bent, and then see if you can stretch your hands down towards the ground. Try to engage your thighs, engage your core so you're not dumping pressure in your lower back. Really pushing the chest forward. If your arms are straight, if there's no bend in your elbows, you can try to lift them up, your hands away from your back just a little bit. Try to keep your shoulders down. So if you're lifting your shoulders up or your hands away from the back and your shoulders are coming up, come back a little bit, dial it back so that you can keep your shoulders down. Chest is coming forward. Legs are strong. Breathing big up into your chest here. And then go ahead and release that. So one more shoulder opener here. Grab your belt or a yoga strap, whatever you have there. A towel will work too. We're gonna do Gomukhasana arms. So take the belt, towel, yoga strap in your right hand. Place that hand right on the top of your upper back and see if you can bring that right elbow so that it's pointing straight up. It should be a little bit of a stretch in the triceps. And take your left hand, rotate the palm under so it's internally rotating this hand, and then see where you can grab on to the strap. If you're more flexible, if you're more used to yoga, you can always do full Gomukhasana arms where you're grabbing the fingers. Wherever you're at, really stretch that right elbow up, the left elbow down. See if you can bring your both shoulders back. This is a really great posture for counteracting a sort of a hunched upper back, the kyphosis in the upper back. So looking forward, maybe looking up a little bit, pulling the chest forward as you do this, and really trying to stretch up through the right elbow and down through the left elbow. Breathing big into the chest. And again, try not to forget about the lower back, as I often do in these chest openers. So make sure you're not putting pressure there. So let's go ahead and release that. Slowly, slowly, slowly. And bring the belt into your left hand, if you're doing the same side as I am, right up at the top of your back. Adjust that left elbow so it's coming straight up. Place the right palm out, turn it under, and then grab on wherever you can grab. And if it feels really intense, just pull back a little bit. If it feels too easy, see if you can inch the strap, your hands a little bit closer on the strap. And if you can do the full Gomukhasana arms, be my guest. So don't worry if you can't do this. It's a really tough one to get. It takes a long time. So really planting your feet down on the ground. Don't forget your feet. Don't forget your core. Stretching up through that left elbow, down through the right elbow, pushing your chest forward and shoulders back. Just really think about this as an opening up of the chest and shoulders and breathing. See if you can breathe right up into your heart center. your chest. And ever so slowly, just let that go. Rotate your shoulders back and down. Stretch your palms down towards the ground, your fingertips down towards the ground, and go ahead and rotate the palms out. So see if you can bring your shoulder blades together on your back, standing really nice and tall here. Again, pushing down through your feet, rising up through the back of your head. And then just do a couple shoulders rolls, make that feel okay. And again, winding down here, just a couple back bends. So we're going to come down onto our hands and knees again. Going to work on an easy variation of camel pose or full camel if you're able to do it. So your knees are roughly hip distance apart. Bring your hands to your hips. Really rotate the shoulders back and down. That shoulder opening that we just did will be helpful for this. And to start off with, this is really, again, in these back bends, we want to try to keep space in the lower back. You don't want to just compress the lower back because it's hard on it and it's just tough on the body over time. So see if you can tilt the tailbone under, engage the core a little bit, and then with the shoulders back and down, then see if you can just come back a little bit like this and then forward. Keep your hands on your hips, keep the shoulders rotating back to really emphasize that openness through the chest. This is hard. It's really difficult on the thighs. So even if you're just coming back just a tiny bit, feel the strength through there, that's great. Really pressing the tops of your feet down into the ground, that will help you balance here. So keep pumping that just a little bit. You can always bring your hands to prayer position. And if you're able to do a full camel pose, just reach back for the heels like this. Again, try not to compress your lower back too much. So see if you can keep creating space, pushing down through the knees, and see if you can make the front body as long as you can, as well as the back body. And breathing. So go ahead and come up out of that and sit back onto your heels if that's available to you. If you need to sit back on a block, I'm going to do a Savasana here. So you can either sit between the heels on a block like this. That's okay on your knees. You can do the block lower or at the lowest setting, or if your quadriceps are a little bit more open, just all the way back between your legs. And close your eyes. Try to keep a nice straight spine here. Again, you don't want to be rounding the lower back. If you're rounding here, then come out of the stretch just a little bit so that you can keep a nice straight spine. Breathe, close your eyes. If that works for you. So go ahead and come up out of this. Make your way to your back. Lying back in your mat, feet flat on the floor. We're just going to do one more gentle back bend here. So coming up into a bridge pose. So either point your fingers straight up towards the ceiling and press the elbows down into the ground. Make sure your knees aren't splaying out. So they should be coming straight up and down. Or interlace your fingers behind your back if that's possible. If you can bring your hands down to the ground. So this becomes more of a chest opener. So try to make sure that your neck is really nice and long. Wherever you're at in this posture, and really pushing down through the feet. Just notice your feet on the ground. Notice if your big toes are bearing as much weight as the outsides of your feet. So try to have equal weight between the inner arches and the outer arches, between the heels and the balls of the feet. And breathe into your chest. Slowly, slowly, slowly coming down out of this, go ahead and lift your heels up off the ground and allow one vertebra at a time to come down. Almost a little bit of massage on the back. And allow your heels to drop last. Go ahead and bring your knees up and your arms out into cactus arms. Actually scoot your butt over to the right just a little bit. That'll help this twist, and then allow your knees to fall to the left, looking over that left shoulder. Try to create as much length as you can through that right side, so stretching that right hip away from your shoulder. And breathing. Letting go. These twists, once you get into them, they should feel okay. If it's too much, just dial it back a little bit. So go ahead and bring your knees back up or back towards center. Scoot your bum over towards the left and allow your knees to fall towards the right, looking over your left shoulder. Should feel a nice stretch through that left hip as well as the left side body, the lower back. Really try to pull your hip away from your shoulder. It's a really subtle movement. It's kind of hard to get, but just that energy of trying to create space through here really helps the stretch. And then slowly, slowly, slowly coming back to center. Put your knees into your chest. Rock around a little bit from side to side. So you've got a couple of options for Savasana here. You can either do a straight up standard Savasana, allowing the feet to fall out, the palms facing up, or I'm going to do a legs up the wall, which is a great passive inversion. So if you're going to do legs up the wall, just get as close as you can to the wall, and then slowly lean back. Turn your feet up and scoot your bum even closer. It's always hard to get into this, but once you're here, it feels great. So just finding yourself in a comfortable position here. If you need a blanket underneath your head or a little blanket over your eyes, just do whatever you need to do to make yourself comfortable and try to let go. And just take a moment to be grateful to yourself, to your body for doing that class. If you followed along, there's some difficult things in yoga. If you're doing these yoga postures, it's really wonderful. It's so good for the body. It's just wonderful that we're able to do this. And we're just gonna stop here. Just gonna slow down. So try to notice the sensations in your body. Try to notice what your breath is doing in the body. Try not to just allow your thoughts to take over. Each time you have a thought, just keep coming back to the body, keep coming back to the breath, keep coming back to the present moment. It's hard. But the more you remind yourself to just keep coming back to the present, the easier it gets. letting go of the breath, letting go of all the effort. Just be here. Just notice what it feels like to stop. So just starting to wiggle your fingers and your toes a little bit. See if you can touch each of your fingers with your thumb, just the tips of your fingers. Take a nice big inhale here. And let it out with a sigh. And wherever you're at, if you've got legs up the wall, just slowly start to make your way down. If you're in Savasana, bring your knees into your chest. And wherever you're at, make your way over onto your side. Take a breath here. And slowly pushing your way back up to a seated position. We're going to do just a couple more minutes of breath work here. Please hang out with me. It will be worth it. These calming parts of the practice are the things that have the most positive impact on us. And it's so much easier to do these things after the asana practice, the movement. So find yourself in a comfortable seat, whether it's on the front of a chair or on a cushion or on a yoga block. And again, just try to make yourself as tall as you can without too much effort. Just feel the length in your spine. And see if you can just feel really light in your body. Just notice the sensation of lightness and effortlessness. Just notice sitting really nice and tall without much effort. And also just notice the sensation of space that you've created here. See if you can just feel more of an openness in your body. So we're going to start doing a little bit of breath here. So take a nice big inhale with me. And a nice complete exhale. And again, big inhale into the belly and up into the chest. And another nice long exhale. Keep going with that. So start trying to draw out your breath. So whether it's a 5 count or 6 count or a 7 count, try to do an equal inhale and an exhale. You don't want to strain the breath. Try to make sure you're not gasping for air, but do a nice slow, deep inhale and a nice slow, deep, complete exhale. Whatever that counts for is for you, that's great. Just play around with it. Try 5, try 6, try 7. I'm going to do a 7 count. As you're breathing here, as you're inhaling, see if you can notice the length and the space that's created on the inhale. And as you're exhaling, just notice your chest falling, your belly falling. Letting go. Inhale is creating length and space and lightness. Exhaling is releasing and letting go. On your next inhale, go ahead and hold the breath and try to do a hold for the same length as your inhale and your exhale. So I'm going to do a 7 count hold and then a 7 count exhale and then repeat. And after you do that for a couple of rounds, see if you can extend the hold. So make it as long as it's comfortable. Try maybe just a few seconds more than the inhale and the exhale. Or you can try double the inhale and the exhale, whatever feels okay, just as long as you're not gasping for breath, as long as it feels steady and comfortable. And just one more round on this last hold as you're holding your breath. Just see if you can really notice the stillness in your body, notice the stillness in your mind. See if you can detect the difference from when you started this practice. And after you complete that next exhale, just come back to an easy breath, and we're going to sit for just a few minutes. This is the best time to meditate after doing yoga. As you're sitting, just see if you can follow the breath. Just see if you can notice the gentle rise and fall of your belly and your chest as you're inhaling and exhaling. Try not to force the breath now. Just try to let the breath happen. And just notice that movement in your body when everything else is still. So slowly starting to bring your awareness back into your body, back into the room. Maybe just starting to move around just a little bit. Turn your head from side to side. Tap your fingers on your knees. Start to move your fingers around on your legs. Just notice the little sensations in your body. And go ahead and blink your eyes open. Slowly come up to a standing position, and just one more time, stretch your arms up, press your feet down. Stretch your arms back, really opening up your chest. A nice morning stretch. Namaste. So if you've made it this far in the class with me, congrats. I hope you're feeling the effects of that. I hope you're feeling more calm as well as more spacious and more flexible. And yeah, just try to take that energy with you throughout the day. Try to take an easier pace with things. Don't just rush and lose all of that work we've done. So I will see you in the next class. Thank you.